Good evening, good evening. I want to be sure you can hear me. You're welcome once again. We had an amazing time last week, Thursday, on generational leadership. Um, um, please, I want to just encourage us to um, share the link on your status, on your group, just to notify people that we are live. You can share it directly to your page just to notify that we are live. All right. All right. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So this is the second episode on the discussion I've started with you last week Thursday on next generational leadership. Next generational leadership. Um, and I remember that I first defined leadership for you, and I gave you two things that are involved in leadership: influence and goal. It is what you want to achieve, the objective, the vision. So those two things must be embedded. So leadership is using influence to achieve those goals. That is, you are influencing a group of people so that they can achieve a particular goal. So, and I told you why next generational leadership is because things are changing. Things are changing. Um, and I remember I showed to you that leadership itself also is changing. And the way change works is that it is very subtle, it is very silent, and you might not know that change has occurred if you are not paying attention. So attention is what aligns us to change. Change is subtle, change is silent, but that doesn't change the fact that things are changing. In the same way, leadership is changing. Are you seeing that now? And I remember I told you that the moment change is obvious, you are late to align. The best time to align to change is when it's subtle, it's very quiet, it's not rampant. Yes, those that can discern it early, they align themselves. So what you do to change is not that you don't stop change, you align yourself to it. The only thing that is constant is change. It's change. That is the only thing that is constant. Change is the only thing that is constant. So attention is what aligned you to change. You don't fight change. No matter what you do, is going to happen. What you do is you align yourself. So once you see that there is a shift in something, you notice that there's a shift. What you need to do is to align yourself. That is how to position yourself for the future. You position yourself for the future by aligning to change. I say it again. You position yourself to change by aligning yourself to change. You position yourself for the future by aligning yourself to change. So, change is very powerful. And how to just align to it is paying attention, because it's up to you. Pay attention. So, it means people that are not observant, they will lose out. People that cannot be discerning, they will lose out. Observation is a skill that can be learnt. Observation is a skill that can be developed. Paying attention to what is happening in your environment. Pay attention to what is happening online. Pay attention to what is happening to people. Pay attention to people's reasoning. Pay attention to different dimensions. It might not be rampant, but you are paying attention. You are observant. You are discerning. For example, if you're a spiritual person here, you know that how to be discerning is not to be loud, is to pay attention to the still small voice of the Holy Spirit in your heart, in your spirit. And that is the way change your course. So you have to be observant. If you can't observe situations, if you can't observe what is happening around you, you will miss out a lot. You will miss out a lot. And that's why I'm teaching this. People that will be ahead are those that can pay attention to change and align themselves to change. If you read your Bible, the Bible says something about the children of Issachar. They are men that understand times. They understand season. They understood. So when we talk about change, you can't separate change from Kairos, not Chronos. Kairos. Kairos is something is shifting. Chronos is normal calendar time. So you can't separate Kairos from Chronos. So if you are discerning and you can sense that something is changing and you position yourself, that is you recognizing Kairos, not even Chronos now. So when he said children of Issachar, they understood times, they understood seasons. And he now said something, he said, their brethren were their command. Why? Because they understand what Israel ought to do or what Israel ought to be doing. Meaning you can be in an activity, you can be doing something and change occurs. The proof that you've seen the change that occurs is that you can align yourself. And I feel the reason why many people discern change late is because they are rigid. They are very, very rigid. They are not flexible. If you see anybody that is positioned for the future, you know that they are very, very flexible. They are very, very flexible. They can believe that this is the way things work, but later they find their way and they quickly adjust themselves to what will matter. There are things that you know that this is the way things work, but to be relevant in the future, you need to be flexible and adjust yourself. Adjust yourself. You adjust yourself. So tonight, I want you to pay attention to me as I'm teaching, because I'm going to be giving you opportunity to ask questions, and I'll be answering them. Is that okay? So you pay attention to change. You do like men of Issachar. You understand times and season. Then you know what people ought to be doing. By the time you know what people ought to be doing, you don't tell people what they ought to be doing alone. You begin to do it. You begin to implement it. You begin to put structure in place. Then also you begin to tell people. You're seeing that. Why are you doing that? So that if you are not implementing and adjusting, building structures to accommodate the change that is coming, even though you've taught people about it, the manifestation might not be seen in your life. So as you are teaching people and bringing people into the awareness of it, you must be adjusting also. You must be building structure to accommodate that change. I even believe that while you are proclaiming that change is here, let's say proclamation is about 30% to 40%, 60 to 70% should be what you are building. If the proof that you believe in that change and you've discerned it and you know what you're saying is that you yourself begin to implement it. You begin to adjust. You begin to be flexible. That is what makes you to be in the future ahead of your people. You know what people ought to be doing. You don't tell them alone. You begin to implement it. You begin to do it. You begin to do it. You begin to implement it little by little, little by little, little by little, little by little, creating space, creating structures to accommodate the change that is coming. Things that you've known before, you begin to adjust it. And the reason I'm saying this is that there is change in leadership. There's change in leadership. I will not be able to capture it in this what I'm teaching tonight, but yeah. In other topic I'll be discussing with you, I will discuss it with you. As a matter of fact, let me just say it now. The next thing I'll be discussing with you, it might not, maybe on Instagram, might not be, maybe in a close cycle, but pay attention to it. If you follow me, I'm going to push it out. Is thrive. All right. So continue from where we stopped last week. For the next generational leadership, if you have not, okay, what I'm going, I don't want to, because of time, I don't want to go back, but if you want to have a background to this, I'm going to post the first one on my YouTube maybe next week, so you can have access to it. But I'll just continue from there. To adjust to the next phase of leadership, one of the things you must do is that, one, you must able to give people room to ask questions. To ask questions. You must give people room to ask questions. If you want to be relevant, this is one of the things you need to be putting in place as a leader now. You want to be relevant in the next phase of leadership, is that you must give people opportunity to have questions and to ask questions rather. And sometimes you must give them room to disagree with you. You know, the leadership we've known is authoritative. The leadership we've known is authoritative. And there's nothing wrong with having authority, but being authoritative is what is wrong. I mean, leadership avoid you of a level of authority to guide people, to instruct people, to help people get something right. Then sometimes you give people instruction through authority, but not to be authoritative. To be authoritative means you don't give people avenue to even ask questions or disagree with you, or hear their own opinion about what you are saying, about what you believe. If you can't allow yourself to be questioned about the principle, anything you know, or allow people to hear their opinion, how can you help them? Because the next phase of leadership is not about you pushing yourself as the champion. It's about how many people you can help. Previous leadership talks about just do your stuff, get results, people follow. Yes. But the next phase, people will ask questions. People will tell you, how are you getting this result? I'm also trying this thing, but I'm not getting the same result you are getting. What am I missing? So you must give people opportunity to ask questions and also to hear their opinion and also to disagree with you. It's when they disagree with you, and that is when you as a leader will be strong and go back to the drawing board. Do I even believe in what I'm doing? Then you find you go and do some research to show that you are convinced. Then you can push them to them. Okay, this is the part. But if you disagree, it's fine. And that doesn't mean they are bad person or they are bad people. You know, the leadership we've always known is the one that get result. One, get result at the expense of people. There are leadership that get result at the expense of people. Number two, the leadership we've known is the one that justifies leadership by few people getting results and doesn't care about what happened to the remaining people. For example, the leadership we've known is the one that judge is um, success based on the number of people that are succeeding, not based on people that have failed. Let me tell you something. Let's imagine there's a leader and have 100 people following, 100 people, or 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 5,000 people. I'm just citing an example. And out of the 1,000 people, you teach them something, and imagine 1,000 people, then 50 people or 100 people, or let me even say 200 people got it right. Then you moved on. That is the leadership we've known. You moved on. You moved on, and you said, if these 50 people, 100 people can get it right, I don't care. It means the other people that are not getting it wrong, they're not getting it right and getting it wrong, they're the one that has issue. The next phase of leadership will not take that from you. And I feel some universities, like Harvard, for an example, they've already started implementing that. You know, in Africa, we judge leadership by how wicked you are. If you're in school, your lecturer will tell you that A belongs to God, B belongs to me, C belongs to the best student in class. So the grade actually starts from D. And you see a number of people failing. People failing. That will not happen in the next phase of leadership. And that is why some leaders will fizzle out. They will be there, but in Harvard, if there is massive failure, they don't question the student, they question the lecturer. They question the lecturer. What are you teaching them? How did you teach them? Were you patient with them? Why are there mass failure? So because of that, the lecturer is conscious of what he's teaching the student to make sure that they get it. At least there must be 90% success before they can guarantee that you did well. And that's what I'm saying. There are leaders that use people to get results. There are leaders that validate their leadership based on just few number of people that get results. They don't care about others. That is not going to survive the next phase of leadership. And that is why you have to give people room to ask questions. If you are interested in them learning what you know, if you are interested in carrying them along, you will not you will tag success not by what you achieved, but the number of people that have achieved what you've achieved, or the number of people that can replicate your result. Because sometimes, if you don't give people room to ask questions, to hear their opinion, you will not understand the principle of environment. You don't understand the principle of environment. You know, someone was analyzing, what is the name of this guy? I've forgotten. No, it's not Fela Dutoye. This billionaire. What is his name? Femi Otedola. They said me, show that. Otedola. Someone read in his book and said, I've forgotten the way he put it, but he said, as at 1990 something, he was broke and he didn't have much money. Then he had about how much he mentioned about. He said, so as at 1990 something, he said he just started with a few amount that is very small. I think his brother or someone, I don't know, a relative should give him about 200 million. So a big money. I can't get the exact amount now. Then that is how he just started his journey. The person that is reading the book closed the book, say 200 as a 1990 something. Then someone played an interview. I saw it also of Aliko Dangote said when he wanted to start his own journey in business, that he sold all his house, all his properties. He had 2 mansions in London, in US. He sold them before he now faced business. And the person calculated when he was born, calculated when he was talking about he started business, calculated as it means at age 24, he had um he had 2 mansions abroad. He had different things. And I'm not saying that they share principles that of course you see all of them, they are disciplined and all those things. But that doesn't change the fact that they are starting at like about 10 steps ahead of some people. And they don't look as if someone wants to implement, you look as if the person is not trying. But that's not the issue. The person is trying, but environment differs. Environment differs. And that's why the next set of leaders are those that will pay attention to understand people's environment, not judging people based on their own environment. You can be in a swampy area that allow banana to grow, yes, plantain to grow, maybe rice or all those crops that that grows well around swampy area because there's water and all those things. I am telling people that this thing, once you plant it, it grow. I guarantee you, less than 1 year, you start harvesting plantain. And from there, you sell to your neighbor and you become a billionaire. Then the person that heard you, his own land is hard like rock. So he's planting. He didn't know that he need to now do irrigation. He need to water it for it to germinate in his own place. So as a leader, if you just summarize results based on your own environment, based on what you understand, based on the privileges surrounding you, then you'll be wrong. It means when you give people like that, only people that are in swampy area will plant that thing and it will grow. And you move on that. If these people can get it right, these people, they are the ones that are not serious. That's not true. So the next phase of leadership must give people avenue for questions, to hear their own opinion, and to also disagree. You must build capacity to allow people to disagree with your opinion. To disagree with your opinion. And in our generation currently, you if you are leading people, you boss them around with results. And they say yes, sir, because they don't have the result. The next phase of people that is coming, you can't boss them, even though they don't have the result, they will question. They are bold and they are fierce. And yes, they are fierce, fearless. Are you with me? Number 2, to position yourself for the next leadership is that you must learn that if you have to have a large result and you want people to turn around you, they must be guarantee of discipleship. That is spending enough time with them. Spend time. People that will be strong in leadership in the next generation, in the next future, are those that can combine leadership with discipleship. Leadership is watch me as I do it and replicate the same. That is, I'm in your front, look at me, I'm doing something, then do the same. Discipleship is I'm doing something, come and do it beside me. I'm watching you and I can correct you if you are making a mistake. And we are moving to the next phase together. That's discipleship. Do you see that? That's discipleship. So because leadership will just say, I've crossed the bridge, oh, where everybody be coming, cross the bridge. But the next phase of leadership will combine discipleship with, I'm crossing it. All of you be crossing also with me. That's what I was saying last week, that you can't be selfish. You can't be selfish. You can't be selfish as a leader. You need to be sacrificial. And what I'm saying is that sacrifice will rule in the coming days. That is, you can sacrifice for humanity, you can sacrifice for people, and to make sure that they get things right. So you spend time, you disciple people, you show people how to do it, and you are present while they are doing it till they master it. Because the aim is not for you to be the only champion. The aim is to raise people like you. I think I mentioned that last week. The aim is to raise people like you. If you want to raise people like you are patient enough to make sure that they get it, and you are present. You are present. So there's something I found out why I was in secondary school. I found out that there are some things that are being taught in class that the general class, all the people might not understand, everybody might not understand. But if you pick them two by two, one by one, they understand. So I found out that the reason why some people are good in class is not because that they're just smart. There are some people that are not that smart, but they are good. They take first, they bang A in class. I found out that most times what the lecturer is teaching or what the teacher is teaching in class, they also have private teacher, or the teacher that is teaching them in class is also their private teacher. Then they can ask question in that place. You can repeat it again. You can do as many examples as possible. In general class, the teacher will just come and write the topic board mass, give one or two examples, and move on to the next one. But in private class, you give all possible examples. All possible examples. How do I know what I'm saying? When I was in school, I was in commercial class, but I need mathematics, and I just like mathematics. So I want to improve. So my teacher that is teaching me, I just approach and I want to do a private class with you. Then that is my genesis for being good at maths. Then the guy taught me mathematics. So I was so good in mathematics, so much that he went ahead and taught me further maths. And I was so good in further maths. I know all those differentiation and integration and differentiation, vector, all those things. That was where I learned it from. Then when he's now teaching us elevation, he has taught me in private class. Elevation, all those Pythagorean theory, I now know it. How did I know it? And I've become best at it because I have private teacher. The same person teaching as a teacher is my private teacher. In the sense that what I'm saying, when he's teaching is a leader. When he's teaching me privately, is discipling me. Do you get that now? It's discipling me. And I saw that, I now understood. So when I gained agreement to university, statistics part 1, I bang it, because I've been discipled. And I was able to teach others. And that also even affect my mindset and my interpretation. Even if I've not, if a subject is calculation, even if I don't know it, if there's a way I pay attention that I will just understand it. That thing affected my mindset, my thinking. So much that my best subject now become mathematics. I studied accounting, so calculation is not my issue. Once it's calculation, I pay attention, I understand. I shall know that. Once it's calculation, why is that? Because I don't only have a leader, I have a discipler. So people that have discipleship grace and can integrate it also with leadership, we help a lot of people and they will be relevant in the next phase. And I feel the reason why I'm picking this at this time is because there's a grace of discipleship on my head, on my life. It's a Davidic spirit. If you're a Christian here, you understand what I'm saying. 2 Samuel, 1 Samuel 22, 2 Samuel 21, 22. You see that people tattered, imagine the number of them, and they increased from 200 to about 600, and from there, and all of them became mighty. It means something can only happen. He was not fighting and telling them to watch him fight. He taught them how to fight. He discipled them. He discipled them. So to be relevant in the next phase of leadership, I believe very strongly that discipleship is at its core. It's at its core. It's at its core. Are you with me? So because of time, let me jump. I want to wrap up. Can you hear me? All right. I told you that you must learn to understand times and seasons. So how to lead in the current age and times, that you have to understand times and season. You understand times and season. Yeah. The next quality you must work on to be relevant in the next phase of discipleship is what I call transparency. Transparency. That is, if you want to align yourself to the next generational leadership to be in future, is that you must build trust. You must be intentional. You must be intentional about building trust. You must intentionally build trust and build it till you earn the trust of people and you start preserving that trust. Because I told you that the next last week Thursday, I told you that the next phase of leadership, the first episode is that it's going to be more than what you say alone, but also what you do. It's going to be more than what you do alone, but also what you say. So building trust is making sure that everything you do and everything you say aligns. They synchronize to each other. You must be transparent. You must be a trustworthy person, whether on site or online. You must be one with your word. You must be transparent. Transparency is going to be a hallmark of leadership. Not this one that you just use and flag your result. People are going to demand accountability from you. They will demand accountability. They will demand people that trust. That's why if you want to be relevant in the next phase of leadership, you don't be on social media and dragging people, say something that is not, you didn't verify, you are not talking fat. It's better for you to keep quiet till you get your fat right. You can't just say anything you want to say and you now say you want to come and apologize. You've lost credibility. You have lost trust. Trust is end. And people are going to sum you with that. It's going to impart in your character. It's going to impart in the kind of person you are. It's going to impart in the way people perceive you and the way people sees you. So you need to be intentional about building trust. You build it till you end it and you preserve it. You build trust till you end it and you preserve it. You build trust by what you push out, by what you say, by your life. Then you end it. After ending it, then you start preserving it. You start making sure that you don't go low. Rather, you keep building more and preserving it. Leaders that lie, that talks things that they didn't verify, that they just say many things they like, they won't survive the next phase of leadership. They won't. They won't. But those that have built trust intentionally and they've earned trust of people, they've earned loyalty, because the loyalty that is going to come is not going to come based on anything in the future. People are going to be loyal because of your life, not because what you can say, not because you are articulative alone, but because you are trustworthy. They've seen your life. They've seen your life. All right, they've seen your life. And also, I have 2 more left. I'll just rush it because of time. I don't know, maybe number 3 or 4 now in this second episode, is that you have to be emotionally intelligent. Emotionally intelligent in the sense that you can relate with people based on their current situation, based on their feelings. The next phase of people that I will be leading, are not those that are really, you are going to need time. You can't imagine you are leading someone and just shout on the person and the person went to hang himself and enter into depression and kill himself or herself. So you have to be emotionally intelligent to know how to break matter, to know how to communicate, to know how to relate with people, build them. And lastly is I call it technological changes, that is, or technological advancement. You must try to spot new changes in technology early and align yourself to it. You must try as much as possible to spot new changes in technology early and align yourself to it. You must be able to do that. You must be able to do that. Because once you start spotting it, you'll be able to align yourself on time. Are you seeing that now? Because if you can align yourself, you won't be relevant. You won't be relevant. I don't want to mention any of these things. If I want to mention any, it's AI. AI. For example, what I'm doing live now, a time is going to come that I can give AI my script and the same person like me will. People have even started doing it. And the person will appear like me live like this. And me, I will be in my house sleeping or doing some other things while the AI of my version is teaching. So, of course, many people are always afraid of change because of their their dogma. They're just static. But you must be able to spot new changes in technology early and align to it. Exploit. You exploit the change. You see the bad side of it, you see the good part of it, then you avoid the bad side of it, you explore the good part of it, and you add it to so that you can be relevant in the nearest future. So technological change is very, very important. Very, very important. All right, let me stop here. I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things today. I hope you've learned 1 or 2 things. And I want to say, you're following, and if not followed or subscribed, do well, turn on the notification bell and subscribe. Is that okay? And share to friends.